Here's how I lesson plan in 5 easy steps. Step 1, open up my lesson planner and start lesson planning. Step 2, go onto Pinterest for some inspiration. Step 3, get distracted on Pinterest and start pinning recipes of things I'm never gonna make. Step 4, get hungry because of the recipes, eat some chocolate. Step 5, give up and just try again the next time. I'm just kidding. Although that is how I lesson planned for quite some time, and that's because I dreaded lesson planning. I was unmotivated to get my lesson planning done, but that's because I had not yet discovered digital lesson planning. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through the ins and the outs of exactly how I digital lesson plan as I get ready for next week. There are literally hundreds of different ways that you can lesson plan. You can handwrite them in a lesson planning book. You can type them up on the computer. So as I go through this, if digital lesson planning is not your cup of tea, you know, it's not the cream for your coffee, that's okay. I personally have really fallen in love with digital lesson planning this year because I get to add my own creativity to a template. You know, I add a little zing, a little pep.
Anybody have any ideas what we could do? Any suggestions? Yes, Andy.
What if we changed our outgoing answering machine message so it just had a little more zing and a little more pep?
Zing and pep. See, those are the kind of words we're looking for. Yes, Jim.
What about if we did an even newer voicemail message that had even more zing and pep?
Now we're cooking. I like this.
Let's start by going through all of the technical stuff that I'm using. Of course, all of these will be linked for you down in the description box. Digital lesson planning would not be digital if it were not for my iPad. This is a 9.7-inch 2017 iPad, but you know, you don't have to get the 2017. You can get yourself a 2018 or new year, new iPad. I don't even know if there's a 2019, but if you're watching this later on, you can get yourself a 2019 iPad. Next, I have my Apple Pencil. You really can use any stylus, but you know, I'm an Apple girl, okay? I just have all Apple everything. I don't know if it's a teacher in me or what, but I really like me some Apple. So this runs, give or take about $100. You could probably get some other stylus for less, but if you want my recommendation, get yourself an Apple Pencil. Next, you need some kind of note-taking app. Personally, I use GoodNotes, but there are just a plethora of note-taking apps out there. So I recommend going on YouTube. If you're kind of looking at a few different ones, watch some comparison videos. That's what I did, and that's how I ultimately chose GoodNotes. It is not a free app, okay, but you get what you pay for. So I think it's like, I don't know, $7, $8, $9, $10, somewhere in that range, but it is totally worth it. Next, you need a digital lesson planner. I personally am going to be using the 2019 Life Planner from Bridget from the Lettered Classroom. Highly recommend it. She also has teacher planners, but I actually use the Life Planner to plan, you know, my lesson plans, because my lesson plans are kind of my life. I don't really do anything else besides teaching. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about all the ins and the outs of her planner, but she does have a tutorial video. You know, it'll be linked down in the description box. You can watch that and it will go through all the details that you need to know. Finally, I use the app Over. Now, I think there's like a free version, but I pay like a yearly fee. I don't know. I use it for a lot of my social media apps. It is definitely not a necessity, but it does come really in handy if you're trying to create like images and fancy text and things to put into your digital lesson planner. I'm gonna jump right in and start planning my week next week. I'm gonna do this very authentically, so, you know, just try to follow my train of thought because I don't really know where the train is going, but eventually it will get to the station. So this right here is the cover of the lesson planner, but let's be honest, I'm pretty much never on this page. So if I swipe, then I have my year at a glance. I love that. And then my word for the year is balance, because I'm trying to have a better balance between, you know, work stuff, school stuff, YouTube stuff, college stuff, all that good stuff. Did you see what I did there? As for the 7 habits, I have not yet established that, so it's not really important, but I'm gonna come up here to this little icon. I don't know what it's called, but Bridget calls it a waffle, so I'm gonna call it a waffle. Once I click on this, it shows me all of my different pages. So this is really useful if you are trying to get to a certain page. For example, this is the home tab. This is where I can have different like notebooks and things, but you know, all I really have is YouTube because it's just, I don't have a lot going on in my life. Then you have different like templates and things. I don't use a lot of that because I just use it as my lesson planner. So I'm gonna go ahead to January. So this is my entire month. You will notice that I have these little black and white, I'm gonna call them a sticker. I don't know if it's actually a sticker, but it's like a digital sticker. It's basically just a JPEG image that I insert into the lesson planner. So those images are all over my planner and I actually use them multiple ways. I will go through that and I will show you how to make them because it's super easy. Now this I kind of set up throughout the month. My school puts out like weekly newsletters and it kind of gives us, events and things going on. So as I have those newsletters come in, I go ahead and just add them to my planner. So most of my month is pretty much done except for this Friday. I'm actually taking half a sub day because, not this Friday, next Friday, I actually need to go to the doctor. So I need to put in a sticker for that because I did not know that at the time that I put all of this together. So let's just zoom in. You'll notice I have Chromebooks next Friday, so that is already there, but I need to add a sticker for having a substitute, and I actually do not have a sticker for that yet. So I'm actually gonna show you how to create it because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you. So in order to create my sticker, I'm actually gonna go back to my homepage and I'm gonna go to the app over. Just click a Rooney, okay. So if I go to my name, these are some of my little templates that I've already created, and this is the one for the little stickers. It's basically just a rectangle, and then it has a black border, and then the text. So if I double click on this, I can actually erase the text that I had before, and I'm gonna put it in all caps and type substitute. And I'm gonna hit the little check mark and this check mark because you never do things only once. Then I'm gonna go ahead and share it and I'm gonna save it to my photos and it has saved. So now I'm gonna go back to GoodNotes and I'm going to insert this as a sticker. So I'm gonna go up here to the little plus sign and I'm gonna go to image and I need to go to my photos and it should be the very last thing. Yes, click. Okay, so now that I have this, I can actually resize it. So I like to make it smaller and then I like to zoom in on the page and I'm gonna resize it so it fits right inside that box and then I can move it. I'm a little picky with my lesson plans, probably shouldn't be, but I want the substitute to be on the top and then Chromebooks underneath. It really doesn't matter, but here I am making a big deal out of it. So I'm gonna use this lasso tool, lasso Chromebooks, I'm gonna move it down, I'm gonna lasso substitute, and I'm gonna just move it right up there, cool beans, and then I'm now gonna move Chromebooks back in place. So now I know that I have a substitute on Friday, at least in the afternoon. What I'm gonna start to do now is move that onto my weekly spread. So if I swipe, these are my plans from last week. You'll notice we were still on winter break for Monday and Tuesday, and then here are my lesson plans. These headings, science and math, are also just stickers that I created right in that Over app, and then the rest of it is handwritten. So if I swipe again, these are my plans for my current week. You will notice that the same stickers that were on the calendar, for example, Monday collaborative planning, right there. So they are in both places. So what I do is I actually move these stickers to that weekly spread. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this collaborative planning sticker. So I'm going to lasso it, click it, I'm gonna copy, and then now I'm gonna go to this week's spread, or next week's spread, y'all know what I mean. So you'll see that this week is completely blank, so I'm gonna hold down, I'm going to click paste, and then I can move it. Now I'm gonna have to resize this because it's a little bit too small. So if I click, I can resize it, make it a little bit bigger, yeah, okay. And then I'm just gonna move it right up top there, and I'm going to repeat that for all of the stickers for next week. So we also have an assessment, which is RSA, that is Reading Skills Assessment. So I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm going to go back to this weekly spread, paste it, make it bigger, cool beans, okay. Go back to January. I need to do that also for Geography B, so that is this upcoming Thursday, and I'm actually judging Geography B. Don't ask me why, because I know nothing about geography. Thank goodness I teach science and math. But nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and put that sticker on there as well. Paste. Perfect. Okay, so let me go back to January. I need to get that substitute one and Chromebook. So I can actually lasso both of these at the same time. And then I'm gonna paste them in. There we go. So now I'm gonna lasso them again. I'm going to click resize, and I can resize them both at once, killing two birds with one stone. No animals were harmed in the making of this video, okay? Just throwing that out there. So then once I have put them in place, Let me just go back to my calendar one last time. Now, if I zoom in, so we do have group pictures on Monday. However, you know, we're supposed to get some snow this weekend, so just saying, those might be canceled. All right. We're going to have shortened blocks on Tuesday. I have no Chromebooks on Wednesday, just a reminder to myself. We have a staff soup luncheon, supervisory visit, which is like basically my principal's boss comes in, you know, they do some observations around the school. So basically be on your A game. And then I'm giving a PD to the entire staff on Discovery Education at 8:05 a.m. Geography B, and I'm judging at 6 o'clock, substitute and Chromebooks. All right, I'm good to go. So now I'm going to swipe to the week, and what I do next is I put in my subject heading, so the science heading and the math heading, and again I just copy and paste. So I'm going to go back to last week, and I'm going to go ahead and just lasso each one of these to get them copied onto the current week. Okay, paste it. Now these I don't have to resize because they were already the correct size to fit right in here. And what I do really like about Bridget's template is if you zoom in enough, you can see there are some little dots. So it's almost like bullet journaling. And for me, that just really helps me keep things nice and, you know, aligned. So now that I have copied science, I'm also gonna go and I'm going to copy math, and I'm going to paste it. Yes, okay. And I'm just gonna put it down there. I know that I'm gonna have to probably move that once I actually start lesson planning, but you know, we can take care of that later. So Tuesday, I'm actually not gonna have science because they're taking the RSA in the morning. We're only gonna have math that day in the afternoon. So I will go ahead and just copy and paste that math one and bring it right over. And there, good enough. Okay, Wednesday, I will be teaching both subjects along with Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and lasso both science and math at the same time. I'm going to paste them over on Wednesday. Okay, I did not want you collaborative planning. All right, well, that's okay. I'm going to just lasso that part and I'm going to delete it. That's fine. I'll just lasso these and align them good enough and lasso them again, copy. And now we're going to paste, which again, I can do this with my Apple Pencil or my finger. You know, my fingers do still work. It's always good. All right, and I'm gonna paste one more time and put them on Friday. Ooh, look at all that stuff going on Friday. Just to throw this out there, you can, you know, fancy it up a little bit with other like fun stickers and things. I personally really like my lesson plan book to just stay very, you know, standard. I like things very simple, and that's one of the reasons I really liked Bridget's lesson planner. It's nice and simple, and you know, I'm gonna keep it that way. So now that I have my headings, I can go ahead and actually start the lesson planning, which is where I handwrite in the actual units and the lessons and all that good stuff. So I like to use this little button. I don't know what it's called, but it makes things nice and big. We'll call it a magnifier. So I'm gonna magnify right over on science, and you'll notice now my pen is highlighted. So if I now write, it's going to do my handwriting. So for science, we actually are going to be starting a new unit on Monday. We are on unit 4, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and write unit 4, and this is on weathering and erosion, which I'm not going to fit, so we're just going to put ER. I'm going to be starting with lesson 1 because that's typically what you do when you start a new unit. So I'm going to put lesson 1. And this is basically an introduction to a lot of the vocabulary and things that go with weathering and erosion. This is where I sometimes do a demonstration to kind of hook them a little bit, you know, engage them, bring them into me. And then we go through some notes and things for their notebook so they can then reference that for the rest of the week. So in my lesson planner, I'm just gonna go ahead and write video and demonstration. But we'll put demo because, you know, ain't nobody got time for that. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put in there that we will do some notes and vocabulary. You will notice I do not write super detailed plans in my lesson planning book because I don't need to. I have written out lesson plans in my curriculum that I can go in, I can look at all the details, and I don't need to waste my time actually writing that in my lesson planning book. So I keep it nice, short, simple, and to the point. Now I will say I like to plan an entire subject all at one time. So instead of planning all of Monday and then all of Tuesday, I'm gonna do all of science first because I like to, what's that called? No, not bulk,
Batch.
batch. thank you, batch. Another thing I love to do when I lesson plan is batching. That means I'm gonna plan all of science, then I'm gonna plan all of math, so I don't have to keep switching back and forth, especially when I'm planning after, you know, I've been at school a day. And so Tuesday, I do not have any science, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm gonna move on to Wednesday. So I am teaching the same unit. I'm gonna actually come right over here. Now I'm gonna get out of this. I'm actually gonna zoom in with my fingers. I'm gonna go ahead and lasso right around this unit title so I don't have to keep rewriting it. So I'm gonna put this on each of the other days. So I'm just gonna come here, I'm gonna paste, where'd you go? Okay, there it is, found it. So I'm going to paste this here, and then I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna paste it. It's probably gonna get lost again. I'll have to go find it. Yes, I found it, okay. I'm gonna put this right here as well. And then I'm gonna come over and paste it on Friday. Where'd you go? Okay. Whew. All right. Now that I have all of my unit titles in, I'm going to go ahead and write in the actual lesson. So for Wednesday, it will be lesson 2. Now, some of my lessons have like actual, you know, titles, and then some of them it's like, hey, we just winging it. This one actually has a title. So this one is called Scratch Scratch. So I'm going to just write that in there, and I can only fit one, so that's fine. I'll just put scratch. And then this lesson is essentially where my students will have frozen ice cubes that have mulch in them, and they will experiment how that affects the rate that the ice cube melts. So in my actual lesson plan, I'm just gonna put frozen ice cube demo. It's not a demo. I need to take that out. It is experiment. I guess we could go with that because each student will have their own. And honestly, that's all I really need to put in there. This will have a recording sheet with it that I actually will be grading, but I'm not gonna worry about that quite yet. Now moving on to Thursday, this is lesson 3. And this is going to be a clay ball experiment. For this one, essentially the students will have one ball of clay where it's all very uniform and together, and they'll have another one where it started out as different pieces and they just kind of smush them together so it has a lot of cracks. They will push down on them and experiment how they change based on the one that's, you know, all nice and smooth, and then the other one that's nice and, you know, cracked up. Now, after talking about how ice affects erosion, and then we talk about weathering and how ice can get into cracks and it expands, our students are actually going to write a letter to the PTA saying, hey, there's this big crack in the sidewalk, you should really fix that, you know, because winter's coming and it's going to freeze and it's going to crack even bigger and all that good stuff. So lesson 4 is letter to PTA. They're going to do some planning in groups, and then they're actually going to independently write the letter. So I'll just put letter writing independently. That is it for science. Like I said, I don't go into a lot of detail because these plans are all written out in my curriculum. So just, you know, don't judge me for it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go out of science, and I'm going to plan math for the week. So I'm gonna start with Monday. Now my math sticker is already where it needs to be. That worked out really well, okay, go me. Now for math, we are continuing with our current unit on Monday. So I, again, like to use this little magnifier when I actually write. So for Monday, we are going to be continuing unit 7. Dash multiplicative comparisons is what we're working on. So I'm just going to put mult compare, and that's good enough. So we are on lesson 3, and this is going to be an application problem. One thing with our math curriculum, it does go through 3 different types of lessons. You got your conceptual lessons, you got your fluency lessons, and then you have your application lessons. So today for math was a conceptual lesson on multiplicative comparisons. Friday, tomorrow, but you're watching this way after, so don't worry about that. We're doing a fluency lesson, and then Monday, when you are watching this, that may have already passed too, but whatever, it's gonna be an application lesson. Something else I wanted to note is that I have pretty much completely revamped the way that I am teaching math. The way our curriculum wants to teach it is like a lot of whole group, and that has not been working for me. So my team teacher and I have talked about it. We think that group rotations would work better for our students. Therefore, I am doing group rotations because I always believe in doing what is best for your students, regardless of what a curriculum tells you to do. So we have actually started implementing 4 group rotations, each one for 15 minutes. We still kind of squeeze in a little number sense routine at the very beginning of the lesson, but it doesn't always happen. However, every single day we are going through 4 group rotations. So with those 4 groups, typically one of the rotations is meeting with the teacher. In the morning, my students will actually also meet with my TA, and then they do an independent assignment at their seats and then Chromebooks. My afternoon class, I don't have my TA, so instead they're doing some kind of activity hands-on as a group. That has now changed the way that I lesson plan for math. Basically, I now plan that first 15 minutes, it's either that number sense routine or going over homework, something like that. So for Monday, we are doing a target number. Now, a target number is essentially where the students are trying to represent that number in as many ways as possible. So our target number for Monday will be 54,286. So once I write that in there, I then start to think about, okay, we're gonna do 4 rotations for 15 minutes. Then I try to think about, okay, what am I gonna do for each of those rotations? So like I said, one of the rotations is always the teacher. So for the teacher, we usually are working on some kind of practice or pose a problem, which is like a word problem. Since Monday is going to be an application lesson, it's going to be a pose a problem where it's a word problem that they're working through. So I'm going to put pose a problem and I will pull that from my curriculum, and I'll just put pose a prob because that's all I can fit there. Then the second rotation will be with my TA, and with my TA, I usually like her to reteach skills, and that will depend on what that group is struggling with. So she's kind of going to be doing a different thing with each different group. So I'm just going to put reteaching, that way she can differentiate it for each group. Also, some of my groups who don't need reteaching, I'm giving them enrichment during that time. So again, that's all differentiated, but I don't write all that out in my actual lesson planner. Their third rotation will be an independent activity. So what I'm thinking is this pose a problem, it's probably gonna be a lengthy problem. I will most likely start it with them and then they will take it back to their seats and they will further work on it. So I'm gonna just put independent work. All right, and then last it will be Chromebooks. That is not an H. Let's fix that. Okay, Chromebooks. On Mondays, we do assign our students homework. It's a packet. It's due on Fridays. So I'm just going to put that on here. Homework is math packet. All right, so now that Monday is done, a lot of the rest of the week is going to be almost the same thing. Not quite, you know, I change it out as needed, but what I will actually do is go ahead and just lasso that, copy it, and then spread it across my plans, and then I can make changes as necessary. Listen, this video is already a heck of a lot longer than I really expected it to be. So instead of boring you and showing you the rest of math, like I said, it's kind of gonna be the same thing. We're gonna start wrapping it up, okay? One other thing I did want to mention with this lesson planner is at the very bottom, you will see that there are these lines. I like to use these as my running to-do list for each day. So for example, on Monday, I kind of look and I go, all right, what do I need to get done on Monday for the rest of the week? Or what do I need to get done Monday morning for Monday if I don't get it done over the weekend? So I'm actually good to go on Monday. I don't think there's anything I have to do for that day, but there will be some things for later in the week. For example, I will need to print out the recording sheet for this frozen ice cube experiment. So I'm gonna go down to the lines and I'm going to put scratch recording sheet. That will help remind me that I need to print that out and make copies. All right, and one other thing I just wanted to mention is I also will just cross things off if I get them done, or I will highlight them if I didn't get them done and lasso them and move them to the next day. So just to show you that, let's say I accomplish this. I like to use this little shape tool because it will help me make a straight line. So as I no, that was horrible. Let's try that again. Nope, that was also bad. That's better. Okay, so as I draw the line, it straightens it out and it just makes it look a lot better. I'm gonna undo that because, you know, haven't printed it out yet, but if I did not get that done for some reason, I will use the highlighter tool and I will highlight it to bring my attention to, hey, you know, Michelle, you haven't gotten that done. You better go back and, you know, get your life together, get it done. Sometimes, depending on what it is, I also will then lasso it and bring it to the next day. So in this case, maybe I don't want to highlight it, but I will just go in, I will lasso it, copy it, and then I will bring it over to the next day, or you could even just move it instead of copying and pasting it. You could just, you know, scoot it right on over. All right, friends, that's gonna wrap up this video. You all thought I was never gonna actually do a video on digital lesson planning, but here we are, okay? I got it done. I know some of you may be disappointed because you were probably expecting a classroom vlog this week, but this week was a week of grading. This was a week of winging it, okay? This was a week of exhaustion. It was just not really a good week to, you know, document and then put on the internet. But with my whole new video formatting that I'm trying out for this year, it allowed me to be able to film this video for you all, which has been highly requested. And I'm gonna be able to film some other videos, also highly requested, such as how I make my Google Slides. I'm here for you all, okay? I know you've been asking for it. I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna make a video all about the details for that. I also am gonna make a video about how I'm doing my math rotations, give you some more detail, because after seeing this, you're probably like, Michelle, I don't get it. It's okay, I'm here for you, I'm gonna explain it. But for now, I hope that this was insightful for you. I hope it gave you some ideas. Again, you know, if digital lesson planning is not the cream for your coffee, it's okay, do you. If I did give you some insightful information, now you're like, hey, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna get me an iPad, I'm gonna get me an Apple Pencil, I'm gonna start digital lesson planning. You know what to do. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, make sure you are subscribed to my channel because you don't want to miss any future videos, okay? I have some good stuff in store for you all. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, okay? Make sure they're on. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.